Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow.
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah!
Hey guys, it's Rosa and welcome to True Heel Heat.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with True Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook for our NJPW Destruction in Kobe 2025 preview. Breaking down this Sunday show from Kobe with an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship bout in the main event, plus a couple of more title bouts as we are on the road now to Wrestle Kingdom. And you have your never open weight 6-man tag team champions of talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. First up, we got the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is your boy, J News. How are you doing, J News? Good to see you back.
Hey, man. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody out there in the world joining us right now here for this preview of New Japan's Destruction in Kobe coming this Sunday. And to answer the first question on the board, King of the North, brother man, appreciate you as always commenting, man. Put that up so I can answer the man. I am not here to make sure that you do something you don't want to do. I will not sell you a bag of false hope and false goods, and I will never, ever let you know that Bad Luck Fale is someone that is worthy of your watch time when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. That ain't the way it's going to flow here, man. But I will say, I am glad to be back here with the team, the never open weight 6-man tag champs of the online wrestling NJPW space. So that I'm glad to be back here. But I will not sell anyone up the river with any false information, especially having to do with Bad Luck Fale or Ren Narita. I will not do that.
We are very glad to hear that and see that. And of course, we wouldn't be the champions if we didn't have our third teammate. She is the most positive New Japan Pro Wrestling fan out there. It is her life. It is Sonal's life. Sonal, welcome back.
Thank you. We were just discussing before how it's been a massive gap. It's been about over a month, actually, since the G1 final, and New Japan has given a nice break. You might be like J News, who's not watched anything from Priest, or like me, who's watched it all. But New Japan have given us some good shows. But it's like they've not pressurized us into like watching it. It's not like here's big shows to watch. They also had a very nice Shinny Champion show, which was very funny, which included a handsome battle royal. If anyone has the chance to watch it, go and watch it, because it was definitely a very funny show.
See, we are a perfect balance, because you have Sonal, who watches all of New Japan. You have J News, who's watched none of New Japan since the G1. And you have me, who's watched some of New Japan since the G1. So it's a nice balance that we have here. I've watched basically like the big matches from the Road 2 shows. And the only show that I actually caught live was the last Road 2 show with Yo versus El Desperado. So we got to bring that up first. Before we do that, of course, we want to welcome y'all. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. Of course, you can sound off in the live chat or in the comment section if you're watching us on demand. But if you're with us live, we will interact with you. So sound off will highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel and our continued coverage of New Japan Pro Wrestling, you can do so with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate your support. We got King of the North, who is still in the chat, causing a ruckus. Now we love you, King of the North. He says, please don't sell me up the river, J News. He also says, I have locked in to every TMDK versus House of Torture 10-man tag main event. And I mean every Yujiro Takahashi tap out. Every Hartley Jackson pinfall.
Justice for Hartley Jackson. Justice for Hartley.
I feel for this. I feel for this, man. Yeah, justice for Hartley Jackson, because Bronson Reed done took his move and using it on WWE television.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he started using the Jagged Edge as his signature move.
Could Hartley Jackson get no? Is there no justice in the world for Hartley Jackson?
I mean, to be fair,
Sonata made it out that he cheated. He's got his moves stolen. He's getting pinned left, right, and center.
To be fair, I think Bronson Reed's a good fella. I think it's an homage to Hartley at the end of the day. So.
But I mean, if they mentioned Hartley Jackson on the telly? Because if not,
of course not.
Obviously, there's no homage, because nobody else apart from New Japan fans will know that it's Hartley's move. And I can tell you, 90% of the WWE audience do not know it's a Hartley. So it's not a homage if there's literally no pointing out that it's Hartley's move.
I know some of the New Japan community who probably doesn't know that it's Hartley Smooth.
Exactly. So it's not a homage. It's no homage.
We got King of the North who says, how did Hartley Jackson get out of GLEAT before Katsusuke Sugo Nakajima?
You know, yeah, I can't answer that question for you at the end of the day. I just truly still believe that Nakajima's really got some heat in New Japan, which is why he never floated over.
Never see him there.
So there's that at the end of the day. So we got that. Oh, we got somebody special in the chat, don't we? We got somebody special in the chat, don't we? Oh man, Maggie's in the chat. Look at that. Maggie's in the chat. Look at that.
Giving you your nickname, JPEG.
Yes.
Shout outs to Maggie. I'll be
Shouts to
live
Maggie.
with her coming up at 3 p.m. over on Fightful Overbook for coexisting with Rob and Maggie. I'm filling in for Rob today, so shout outs to Maggie for sure. We also got in the chat here, we got Zach who says happy National Pancake Day, SP3, J News, and Sonal. Did you guys have pancakes today?
And honestly, like pancake, we had one pancake day, and that's way earlier in the year. That's like near Easter in April.
No pancakes for me. I did have some French toast yesterday, though. So close enough.
That's quite close. That's pretty close.
Close enough.
That's quite close. That's quite close. You got French toast. Wait, so are you more of a French toast over waffles and pancakes guy?
I am actually a waffle guy. So that's me.
You know what's funny? You're talking about. So I have waffles a lot, but they're savory waffles. Like
savory waffles, really?
Yeah, that's so here. Like waffles, sweet waffles aren't really a thing. But like for example, we have like potato waffles, which are really savory, and like you just have them with meals.
Okay, good to know. I didn't
So
even know
if anyone else knows about a savory waffle, because I feel like me and James are looking at me like I'm insane.
I barely knew y'all had waffles in the UK. I barely saw it when I went to the grocery store. It's like I'm seeing pancakes all the time. I was like, do you guys have waffles?
Savory waffles.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, we have sweet waffles in like dessert shops, but like, yeah.
We got Maggie who tells us they're all the same. Yeah, if you could put syrup on it, I guess it's all the same. I guess you could say that. And we also got Lady May TV says good afternoon. Good afternoon to you as well.
Good afternoon.
All right, let's talk about this Sunday show, Kobe. And as always, with our pay-per-view previews, you know how we do. We like to gauge how hyped, how excited we are for the card. So we'll start with Sonal from 0 to 10. What is your excitement level for this Sunday's card?
I think if you asked me like a week ago, I wouldn't have been like excited because there's not much. But actually, I'm like on like a 7, just because I think the last few shows for New Japan have really hyped me up. There's not like a specific match I'm excited about. Like I think we'll mention there's a lot of House of Torture again, which is always a very which is always a risky business. But I feel like there are like some matches I'm looking forward to. As I think Shingo versus Gabe Kidd, very much looking forward to that. Ishimori versus Hiromu. I feel have they announced that? They've announced that's officially GHC, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. So there are some that I am excited for. Obviously, the presence of House of Torture is very scary.
There's a lot of that is what Gato has done to us ever since Dominion.
No, ever since the House of Torture was created.
No, I think it went into overdrive at Dominion. I think Dominion was where it was like, okay, now I'm scared every time I watch a New Japan show. J News, where you at? 0 to 10.
I am probably at a midway point with this, being that I am on the comeback trail to my New Japan.
Oh.
Was it? I thought I'd frozen.
Am I frozen? Yeah, I thought you were. I thought I was frozen because I saw you were frozen for a bit, and then he was frozen. Okay, he's back.
We were all frozen for a bit. So what was I saying? Yeah, I'm at the midway point. I'm at 5, because I'm getting my gears back into the grind when it comes to New Japan. Since I've been off of New Japan, it's been mostly AEW and CMLL for me. So looking at the card, understanding what the card is, obviously Shingo versus Gabe, I'm looking forward to. Now with Hiromu as the GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion, there is an interesting bit of crossover that can happen, but we shall see if it does happen. For Hiromu, that is. So there's that. So I'm excited for Hiromu versus Ishimori, even though it's the 20th time I'll be seeing that match. So there's that of it.
I feel like they've decided, they're like, with the amount of house torture, they're like, we need something that we know is gonna deliver, and we know that Hiromu and Ishimori always have very good matches. So they're like, here's something that you can rely on.
Yeah,
they gave us 3. They gave us like 3 matches, and they're back to back on this card that they are pretty sure that they know will deliver because they has delivered before. So we'll see. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works for them. Yeah, I'm right in the middle. I'm gonna say I'm at like a 5. Like my fandom of New Japan, I really look at it in retrospect. Like it is before Dominion and then after Dominion. I was like, before Dominion, I was as excited. I was waving the New Japan flag on social media. I was like, AEW turned it around, but bump that. They ain't the promotion of the year. I was like, WWE still making money, but bump that. They ain't the promotion of the year. It's New Japan. But ever since Dominion, I've become a disenfranchised fan. Like, I have no belief. And then the G1 didn't do anything to quell that ever since. I feel like it went down even more when Evil beat Yota Tsuji. Evil beating Yota Tsuji.
Blame Evil. I feel like that's like a consensus every time. The pandemic, when he won the title, blame, everything goes downhill with Evil.
But I wasn't as down like everybody else when he won the world title. I wasn't as down on him when he won the G1. Like, there's been a lot of times
I always forget that was a thing. I always forget that was a thing.
It's just been so overwhelmingly the focus of this company that I don't like this company anymore. Because when I think about this company, I think about House of Torture. So I needed a break. So I did appreciate the break, and I did appreciate watching the show live on Wednesday, because it was like, oh, okay, it's cool. Walker Stewart's here. He's doing a solo call. It was nice. And you got that great main event with Yo and El Desperado. What a performance by Yo in that matchup. Yo just putting on 2 of the best matches of his career, really, this year, with the Best of Super Junior final against Kosei Fujita, and then that performance against El Desperado, and El Desperado having kind of a very quiet Wrestler of the Year campaign. Like, especially if you're just focused on like Japanese wrestlers, I think that he would be in that conversation for sure with this junior title reign now at 8 successful defenses. But another excellent matchup by El Desperado, another phenomenal performance by Yo. I know you wanted to talk about that matchup, Sonal. So what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the show live, but I watched that one live, and we've discussed this plenty of times, and I've discussed it on my, is that a lot of people are Yo is a lot like Marmite. And a lot of people have had like issues where they think, and they've mentioned it on commentary, where seemingly he has periods of time where he just seems disinterested, and like it takes a really big, I've never had that, but I can understand where people come from, because that's Yo's character. It's very, I think there's a lot of a disconnect between a lot of fans. But when I watched the match again, and I was like, this is why people have to take notice of Yo, because I feel like even now, and it's been years since Roppongi 3K has split up, people are still like, oh, well, he's a tag wrestler. He did his best stuff is that, whether it's obviously with Sho or now with Wato. But Yo gave, like, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I genuinely for a second thought Yo was going to win it. Like, I knew he wasn't, but in my head, my heart was beating, and I was like, Yo is finally going to do it.
They got me. That's when I knew this match was like, I was like, okay, yeah, this is one of the better matches I've seen in a while in New Japan. This is probably, I would say, either on level or slightly better than the G1 final with Evil and Takeshita, because this was a great performance by Yo, because he convinced me. I was convinced. I was like, he can do it. He can do it. This is like, how long has Despy had the title? He's had it since January. I was convinced that Yo had a chance.
I was like, okay, let me figure this out. Yo could win. And actually, it would make sense because obviously I've been pushing this agenda of Wato winning at Wrestle Kingdom. I was like, you could still technically do that. You could have like a friends versus friends, obviously, as their partners. And I think, and you're right, because you were like, Despy is low-key like MVP of the year. But actually, the ability of Despy is to make his opponent look, because Despy we know is amazing. Like, Despy is a standout. But the crowd, you could feel them on Yo's side. And that's obviously, you can say that Yo's amazing. And actually, he really opens the mind. But it's the ability of Desperado to be able to, he always does this, is he makes himself look good, but he makes his opponent look even better. And I also want to shout out to Yo's selling of his knee. Like,
yes.
That was amazing. I was like, obviously, it's wrestling. But I was like, God damn, that's I was like hiding behind a cushion. I was like, oh my God.
We got Dustin is agreeing with J News in the chat talking about New Japan, saying NJPW hasn't been all that exciting since the G1, and AEW has been hitting it with strong shows. You also got Yusuf, who says, like, legitimately the War Dogs versus Unaffiliated and KO Brothers versus Black Saints will deliver. Anything else is shit. And he also says, talking about the Road 2 shows, he says these house shows were a real chore with the amount of House of Torture matches. Made me appreciate that at least one faction managed to turn it around greatly. Shout out to the Death Riders. The fact that we got people shouting out the Death Riders turning it around, and the House of Torture has been around for 5 years and they can't turn it around.
I kind of think, though, actually, like, the House Torture, there was a lot, but actually it wasn't. I think there was about 2 matches. I watched the House of Torture versus TMDK one. The one with Fale, I couldn't watch. I couldn't. Because, you guys know my feelings on Bolton Oleg anyway. And then that. But actually, yeah, I mean, I think the house shows, it depends on what you do. House shows always tend to be, you have to be really invested in them. For example, there was a lot of like Hontai and Hontai, but actually there was some really good matches. People should check out Wato versus Tanahashi. I really liked that match. That was really special. And if anyone watched the post-match comments, Tanahashi is now gifted Wato the sling blade. And he's basically like, you use this, you're not allowed to change the name. And then Wato was like, he's going to keep it and he's going to make it his own. So I think it depends on what perspective you're looking at. The House of Torture is always hard, but actually, if you watch the stuff with the Young Lions and the other stories going on, it is. But again, this is the problem: is that the overarching, House of Torture lurking in every crevice, sort of outbalance. Do you know what I mean? It outbalances the possibly very good stories that we've had. For example, I think someone mentioned Ishii and Taiji versus Knockout Brothers. Very good lead ups to this. The Unaffiliated versus War Dogs, really good. Like, there's some good stuff, but it's sad that the House of Torture is just like casting their evil, gloomy eye everywhere.
And that's what, like, the general feeling is, Dustin saying G1 just made me deflated to be excited about anything.
We said deflated, but we also said it just makes us anxious about everything. Just because of, like, the amount of it. Because, like we mentioned, after you go into every Dominion show, like, shit, for example, I didn't mind the junior tag match. I actually said, when I did my video about booking it, I said that Show and Doki could keep it. Because actually, they're a very good team. And while they cheat, I'm fine as long as nobody else comes out. And they cheated in a pretty heel way. Like, similar to what Doki used to do in Suzuki-gun. Yeah. So in things like that, it's fine. And actually, you should go and watch that match. That was quite a good match as well. But
yeah, I watched parts of that. I watched the tail end of that into the main event.
Yeah, that was actually a very good match. But it's the presence of the heavyweights, the House of Torture heavyweights, that is very
They all suck.
terrifying. Like, we got
There's
Narita,
not a good one in the bunch.
Evil, Fale. Am I missing someone? No, maybe not.
Yujiro.
Oh, no one counts
Sonata.
So, to be fair, Sonata, shout out to the outfits.
Chase Owens.
Yeah,
Just think about the worst wrestlers on New Japan's roster, and you'll probably name the House of Torture members.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, the juniors, I've not really got too much of an issue with the juniors. And, like, even, I think we'll discuss it, like, even the match with Doki and Despy, I'm not hating on it. But it's just those heavyweights. It's just the heavyweight House of Tortures and Dick Togo, which is just, like, grinding at me.
Very understandable. Very understandable. King of the North says, which TMDK versus House of Torture match? There was 23 of them.
I think that was 25, probably. Maybe 100.
Oh,
I don't know. I lost count.
Probably right. Dustin says, Sonal and J News made me realize Bolton hasn't had a single feud where he shows any ounce of character.
If anyone's been watching the Young Lions during this tour, they're putting Bolton Oleg to shame. All of them. Matsumoto, Zayn J, Yasuda, Kato, Murashima, Nagai. It's crazy if you compare them. And considering they're all Oleg is the only one who's not a Young Lion, but he's giving me the most blandest shit ever.
Can I just say that usually when these tours happen after the G1 and there is a fresh crop of Young Lions, I get interested in the Young Lions to see as to who's got the most fire, who's got the most attitude and personality and things of that nature. And a lot of them have shown quite a bit. The entire group has shown quite a bit. And I just don't have anything good to say about Bolton Oleg. I just don't. And instead of putting him down anymore or saying anything bad, I'm just not going to at the end of the day.
I think between me and J News, we've given enough constructive criticism. And I feel like, right, J News, everything we've said has been constructive. We've said that he needs to sort out his character. We need to see more personality. We've not said anything mean about him that can't be fixed. And obviously that's and the fact that when the Young Lions were really Young Lions, you could sort of say, oh, it's fine, he's just come up. The Young Lions, there's nothing really happening. But especially in this tour, if you see the Lions, phenomenal. Their backstage comments, amazing. Matsumoto, like Zayn J, I understand because he did some stuff in America. Matsumoto has literally just been a few months and he's already, like, he's giving me the vibes that Nagai had. You know, like a cocky bastard who is really gonna be a good heel, or maybe like a tweener or something. Bolton Oleg, I'm just like, I forgot he was on this card. And that's not just because of Fale.
It is hate.
Hold on.
King of the North says it's very spiteful, and y'all a couple of haters.
Did he just say that we're a couple of haters? We're not a couple of haters.
Couple of haters.
Not a couple of haters. Listen, man. Listen, man. Let me school you on this real quick, okay? When something is boring and is uninteresting and does nothing for you, sometimes you have to speak on it. And in this world that we live in, this New Japan world that we discuss things about, Bolton Oleg's that dude right now. We try to be constructive, right? And like I said, I'm not going to try to put him down anymore because at the end of the day, either he does or he does not. And right now, he's doing a lot of not. And he is the never openweight champion. So I'm going to let him be until someone, somewhere, in some time, gets something good out of Bolton Oleg. But right now, it's just not working, man. It's just not working. That's all it is.
Enough of this Bolton Oleg hater interlude. Let's talk about this show.
It's not haters.
Multi-man matchup. You got Hontai being represented by Shota Umino, Yuya Uemura, and Yoshihashi facing the House of Torture Evil, Sonata, and Dick Togo. Multi-man action, the main babyface faction versus the main heel faction, as tends to happen on these New Japan shows. Jay News, your favorite kind of matchup on a show like this? Who you got?
I mean, for goodness sakes, I don't even know where to go here, but like, because New Japan just loves them some House of Torture at this point, and Evil seems to be the front man at whatever's happening. If this is going to be the first match of the night, then I'm going to say that the House wins just because at the end of the day. Yeah, that's all I got. Nothing strong, just because.
Sonal.
See, just because of who's on it was with Dick Togo, wasn't it? Yeah, I think Dick Togo's going to get pinned. And I was just like, I don't see anyone else getting pinned. Also, I want to give a shout out to actually the rising relationship of Shota Umino and Uemura has been very good. I like that they're giving them as much as people are going to hate on Shota and they don't like it, blah, blah, blah. This tag team between Shota and Uemura, I actually am very excited about. It's very nice. It's like, it's not straight. They're not pushing them straight, but they're showing their relationship build and like, oh, well, we used to be rivals, but actually we're partners now, but actually we're going to face each other again and stuff like that. It's been quite nice, actually.
Yeah, and it seems like that's the direction that they're going with them. It seems like, Shota Umino is far away from the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship scene where he needs to be. I agree with King of the North, Yuya Uemura, Shota Umino, where they belong. Palim, 6-man tag. I don't agree with Uemura. I feel like Uemura has more upward mobility, but Shota Umino, you failed too many times. You belong here. We shall see. This is also true though. King of the North says Bolton had got better character development than Shota Umino.
Absolutely not. No,
right.
We will differ in that opinion. I'll go to the grave with that opinion. Absolutely not.
No. This is not just me because I'm a Shota fan and I don't understand. I've got a close thing, but even if I didn't like Shota, which is obviously not the thing, you can't compare the two. Like, the only thing you can compare Bolton Oleg to is like a brick, a wall or something. You can't compare him to Shota. No.
At least we've had ups and downs with Shota Umino. Ups and downs. There's been investment in Shooter Umino. There's been no investment in Bolton Oleg. Who's got an ROI on Bolton Oleg? Tell me who's gotten a return of investment on Bolton Oleg. Anybody?
You can tell this from the reaction.
Never open weight champion.
No, because Western fans,
how does that matter?
Might not like Shota, but if you watch the shows, right, you see kids in the Shota shirt. They're reaching out for Shota. They want to interact with him. You're not seeing. I did not seen any Oleg shirts. No little kids are running up to get a photo with Bolton Oleg.
Because they haven't tried that yet. They're gonna try that. It's gonna work like gangbusters.
Babyface. He speaks Japanese. He does everything, but like, no.
Yusuf says, if you guys don't love Bolton, I guarantee that you guys will hate Aaron Wolf. They have the kind of wrestlers who aren't booked for fan fiction shippers and cute aficionados. They are fucking killers.
Who?
Yusuf took y'all criticism seriously and personally.
No, fan fiction shippers. No, I don't like that. Okay, because I do like a good fan fiction, but it's you. The thing is, right? You can have people who are killers, and they don't have to have this over-the-top personality. Like hell, Shibata used to wrestle in just simple black shorts. He had a very distinct style, but there was nothing about Bolton Oleg. He comes out with his with the hat of his country. He comes out in blue, but it's not that we want the cute. We don't want the cutesy thing. We want people wrestlers, but Bolton isn't giving anything. Cute aficionados, and most of the roster aren't cute. Okay, there's a few of them. Okay, but like no. Don't reduce mine and Jane News's. But we want Bolton. We have wanted him to get better for years.
Yeah, don't reduce their opinions to like, oh, you guys are so different. You guys are this and that and this and that and the third. No, you like Bolton. That's fair. You can't criticize them for not liking the same thing that you like.
Also, I'm not going to criticize you if you do like Bolton Oleg. Like, I will never criticize someone for saying who their favorite wrestler is, as long as they're not like really bad people in real life. Like I said, I don't have any issues. It's just obviously me and Jay News have this thing as like wrestling fans, is that we, like Jay News said with Shota, you might not like him, but he's got a character. He's gone through ups and downs. They've had storylines that, whether you've invested him in a good way or a bad way, Bolton Oleg makes you feel indifferent. And that's the worst thing you can be in wrestling. Like, hell, even if you hate Evil to the sun and back, you're going to talk about how you hate Evil.
Exactly. And might I just say, right? I haven't seen anything that Aaron Wolf has done. He's still in the dojo, right? He might be a killer. He's a freaking judo champion. He's a judoka at the end of the day. Bolton Oleg has not been booked, and nor has he shown himself to be a killer on New Japan shows at all, ever, at any point.
That's and King of the North said, what's he supposed to do when his title challenges Bad Luck Fale? He had some great opponents in the G1. And he didn't
this has nothing to do with Bad Luck Fale. We've been saying this about Bolton Oleg for years at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
He's not had Fale as his opponent for 2 years.
So it's
the only person he really has produced great matches with is Konosuke Takeshita.
Right, and that's not a tall bar to ask. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a cheat code, basically.
Yeah, man. Like who is Takeshita not having great matches with? At the
end, he had a good match with Evil, like one that actually SP3 liked. Like, when does SP3 ever like an Evil match?
Oh, man. Listen, man. Hopefully he gets better in the long run.
I swear, Bolton Oleg should have been on the thumbnail for this episode. You get second match. You get Hiroshi Tanahashi continuing his retirement road, his final road retirement tour. Hiroshi Tanahashi goes one-on-one with the great Okan. These two men have battled in the past. They've been feuding and going back and forth pretty much since the G1 final, and now they go one-on-one. Great Okan's last opportunity to pick up a win over the ace. Sonal, who you got here?
I've really been enjoying Tanahashi's retirement tour. It's been amazing. Like, mainly because I've been seeing the comparisons to John Cena's retirement tour. I don't watch it, but I've seen the memes. I've seen the things.
If Hiroshi Tanahashi wanted a cheat code to make his retirement tour look great, he picked the right thing by doing it the same year as John Cena.
Yeah, he's just been having great matches with people that he really like. You can tell that he's raised in the dojo and things. I think that Okan's gonna win, just because Tanahashi has beat people, but people have beaten Tanahashi. So, for example, Wato is the whole heavyweight versus junior. Wato wasn't gonna win. Also, Wato is still quite young. But I do see Okan, because I mentioned this in the G1 final, that Tanahashi put over a lot of talent. A lot of the new guys beat him, Callum, Oiwa. And I think that he's, even the way he gave Wato this move, like, unlike some people who left the company to go to AEW and didn't do anything with talent, Tanahashi is making his mark.
Hey, don't worry. He's going to put over a top star in New Japan. Konosuke Takeshita, don't worry, he's gonna do that.
That's the closest we're gonna get, and he's not even a fully contracted New Japan guy, and he's not even a young guy who's been in the. Takeshita's been in the industry longer than most of these young guys in New Japan.
Jay News, who you got here? Tanahashi and Okan.
I've got the Prez in this one. I don't think this is my own personal bias at the end of the day coming into this. I don't feel like Okan is high on the Tanahashi pecking order. So I don't think Okan's going to get the big Tana rub here. So Tanahashi for the win. Shouts to Fergal Devitt and AJ Styles. During the week, they've mentioned that they both have it in their thoughts that they wanted to face Tanahashi on his road to retirement, but they know that it's impossible to do so but I am grateful for the fact that they talked about Tanahashi during interviews with Tokyo Sports and other media outlets and stuff like that. So shouts to those two guys. They have their history with Tanahashi, things of that nature. So I wanted to bring that up at the end of the day. And I'm still holding out hope for January 4th at the end of the day. So we'll see how it all goes down. But yeah, Tana for the win here versus Okada.
What, for Nakamura?
Yeah.
It ain't happening, dog. I'll tell you right now. I don't want you to get your hopes up. It ain't happening.
Okay. At the end of the day, I would have figured that his contract would have been up or something like that. Who knows?
Nah. I don't know what's going on with his contract. His whole thing. I don't even know when he's going to show up on WWE TV again. If he's going to show up on WWE
That's
TV
the thing,
again.
right?
So, sorry, New Japan works with AEW, so
I know.
WWE ain't letting Nakamura go to work no Tokyo Dome. Sorry.
No, I'm just out, because I don't know his situation. I don't know if his contract is expiring beforehand. If it does, then cool. If not, then
I
whatever.
don't think I've heard from Nakamura. Like, I obviously see bits and pieces from WWE fans on my timeline. I don't think I've heard anything about Nakamura.
Yeah. Unless his contract expires at the beginning of 2026, and you will know that it's Nakamura if New Japan decides they're going to do a mystery opponent for Tanahashi, because they can't announce it until he's out of contract.
Right.
That would get a massive pop. That would.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
That'd be
Definitely
huge.
I'm gonna go with Tanahashi here. This doesn't seem like the big match for them to put over, and I went with Yuya Uemura against Tanahashi. I think what was that, Dominion, and he lost. Of course, that set up him beating Tanahashi in the G1, and Great Khan doesn't have that opportunity. But I don't think that this is one of the losses for Tanahashi. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost, but I'm gonna say Tanahashi wins. Then you got, for the Never Openweight Championship, Boltin Oleg will defend against the aforementioned Don Fale, the quickest, fastest, most agile competitor on the New Japan roster. Made his return at Dominion and immediately joined the House of Torture. He picked up a victory over Boltin Oleg in tag team action at the G1 final. He's gotten the better of him on a couple of tag team occasions in the past couple of weeks, and now he gets his opportunity at the Never Openweight Championship. Please, dear God, help us all get through this matchup. J News, who you got, Boltin or Fale?
Boltin Oleg retains. That's all I got to say.
Sonal.
Boltin Oleg retains in a 2-minute match. That'd be ideal.
I love that y'all have nothing to say. Y'all have talked about Boltin Oleg the whole
I was
time.
gonna say we both said what we had to say about Oleg. No one was saying anything about Fale. I think it's solid.
It's like time to move on. Then we got for the IWGP. I'm gonna go with Boltin Oleg. Boltin Oleg retains, hopefully quickly. For the IWGP World Tag Team Championships, it's going to be Tomohiro Ishii and Taiji defending against the Knockout Brothers, Yoto Ice and Asuka. Asuka Lobe and Yoto Nakashima made their return from excursion back at Dominion alongside, or was it G1 Climax? I think it was G1 Climax Finals. G1 Climax Finals made their return from excursion as the newest member of the Bullet Club War Dogs, known as the Knockout Brothers. Going from Young Blood to Knockout Brothers, they've been getting the better of Ishii and Taiji over the last couple of weeks after an initial attack on Taiji at the G1 final, and now they look poised to win gold and bring it to the War Dogs. Sonal, what have you thought about the Knockout Brothers so far, and who do you think wins? Will New Japan pull the trigger on the former Young Lions winning gold here?
Right, I'm going to bring this back to Boltin Oleg slightly. Before Yuto Nakajima left for excursion, I had a fair share of criticisms from him. You can probably go back and find it on True Heel Heat. This is why an excursion is so important, because look what Yuto has done. He's come back with a personality. Him and Oscar are the perfect team. If anyone hasn't read their interview with New Japan World, read it, because for me it showcases their diversity as a team, because on the front they look like proper heels, but they're with the War Dogs, and in the interview you can see this, because as many expletives as Yuto uses, neither him or Oscar disregarded their opponents. They didn't disregard a lot of people on the roster. They had this respect for them, but in a way that is still like, but we think we can do it. And I think some of Yuto Ice's mannerisms, I'm still getting used to it. It's still quite interesting to see. But actually, this is what we need. We needed something in the War Dogs. I know someone said it way earlier on that they didn't like the Knockout Brothers in War Dogs, but I think it's the perfect fit, because you've got you've got them with people like Gabe, and that's where they did Excursion Europe. And to have them facing Ishii and Taiji is great, because again, Yuto shared like, I guess, his kind of respect for Ishii, and it is like, I kind of see, like, I see Yuto and Ishii as in the dark horses, you know what I mean? And I think it's gonna be great, but actually, I'm like I don't think that they're gonna win. I think that Taichi and Ishii are gonna retain. I think I don't know. I'd like Knockout Brothers to win, but I feel like that's something maybe World Tag League.
I could see.
Also, I like Ishii and Taichi as champions. I think they're great, and yeah,
they're gonna hold the titles for a little while longer. I tend to agree with you in King of the North. This does feel like the Gato special. Logically, the new guys coming back from Excursion, the best way to put them over, and the way that guys like in the last decade, like your Roppongi 3K, Yo and Show, like Hiromu Takahashi, like Jay White, soon after their Excursion, they came back and they won championship gold. That is how you solidify guys coming back from Excursion. New Japan's been on this different vibe of going in a different direction of you lose your big match, then you eventually, years later, will win the title that you were originally chasing after, which is lame as hell. I hope that the Knockout Brothers win, but my pick is going to have to be Ishii and Taiji, because I think that Gato will always go to his more negative tendencies when it comes to booking.
But I also think, though, that out of anything, if the thing, Ishii and Taichi retaining isn't awful, because they are very good champions. And do you know what I mean? Like, we say this, and actually, yeah, it's annoying, but at least if it's anyone retaining, it's those two. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you want the young, I was going to say young blood, but obviously the Knockout Brothers to win. But at least if they do lose, you know that Ishii and Taichi are going to make them look great. And yeah,
but they're not gonna hold it for that much longer. I think that King of the North is on to something as well, that they're gonna probably retain and then lose in their next title defense, because that's what Gato does.
I don't think that I think them dropping it now wouldn't have done anything for the belts. With the belts that need help, because this bloody division's been.
I think it would have been good for the Knockout Brothers to win here and then get another title defense at like your whatever Power Struggle or wherever the next big show is before the World Tag League, and then they have a dominant performance in World Tag League and then lose probably towards the end, or just lose out in the knockout rounds at the end. Like, I think that would have been well for them, and they would have been legitimized going into Tokyo Dome season as the champions. I think that's a direction that they can go, but I'm gonna go.
They can go, but obviously we know how the direction's been going. I think, like, again, we know that, like, ideal world, the Knockout Brothers would win. Do you know what I mean? Like, I said it, but you've got to look at, like you've mentioned, the changed narrative to when, like, the guys like Roppongi and Jay and them came back and suddenly went. We've not seen that in years. Probably since the last classic was probably like Roppongi and Jay.
Yeah. It's been such a long time. J News, what do you think? Who comes out with the tag titles?
I would first like to say that I was excited to see the return of the Young Bloods, a.k.a. the Knockout Brothers, when they first returned at the end of the G1. But this past week, unfortunately, has given me should I say it's turned me off to one Yuto Ice. I can't defend it anymore. I spoke about the cultural appropriation stuff not being too much at the end of the day. When you go out of your way to call your knee strike the bumboclat, I have a problem with it at the end of the day. So I'm gonna leave them there. Big Tom and Taichi retain. That's all I got. I'm a Big Tom advocate at the end of the day. Tomohiro Ishii is my guy. I want Taichi to go out in a grand style. We're getting the last years of Taichi's career as well for people who don't know. So that's where I'm at with it. I can't support Yuto Ice anymore, and because Oscar's with him by proxy, I can't support the Knockout Brothers. That's all I got.
I think so. The thing is, when I first heard that, and obviously, like where I grew up, I knew all about it and stuff like that. I think the problem has come because obviously I'm from a world of idols as well, and cultural appropriation is something very much criticized in it. Now, what I've noticed, and I think the problem that we're going to see is because even I said, and I was like, this feels a bit weird to me, right? And this is obviously just because of where I've grown up and stuff like my schools and stuff. I was like, this doesn't feel right. The problem is the narrative of the Gaikokujin fans is a lot of them like, this is amazing, this is so funny, this is making it go viral. And this is where you compare it to the idol. If in the world of idols, K-pop, if someone does something like that, you have thousands of people emailing the companies, quote retweeting it. The problem is with all the Gaikoks, the Japanese fans, they're probably going to be immune to it. They don't know any different. But when you see, and New Japan will see the number of New Japan fans who are retweeting it, the foreign ones going, this is so cool, or making it into memes and stuff, they're not going to see what's wrong with it. And that's where the problem's going to come, is that, oh, you find it funny. But when you're tweeting all these like, ha, 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 New Japan don't see an issue with it. And again, I'm not going to defend Japanese people, but it's the same with Korea. There is a big gap of what they know of a cultural appropriation. And if you keep sharing them and with the haha emojis and, oh, this is so funny, this is so cool, which I've seen a lot of, then New Japan are not going to take that. They're not going to understand what the issue is. Whereas, for example, I'm going to bring that when Ishimori did the Nazi thing, and there was a whole hell of a lot of backlash from foreign fans, and they would have taken that onto board. They're not going to do that with Yuto, and they're going to carry on as long as fans are still like, oh my god, this is so funny, this is hilarious.
Because they've done it with other characters and other companies as well. I mean, for all intents and purposes, for people who watch Noah, what the hell is Muhammad Yone, right? So it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's funny at first, and then when you see certain things, and then when you see certain phrases, I was like, did they have to go there necessarily? And also, and I'm being a little tongue in cheek about this at the same time, but it's relevant to this. When Yuto Ice ends his barrage of words when he's cutting promos with "Let's get high," does he know what he's saying? Does he know what he's saying?
That's the thing I was going to say, Jane. It's like we don't understand how much Yuto knows and where he's taken it. Like, we can't assume, obviously, that this is all malicious and that Yuto... Yeah. A lot of people in Japan are very much influenced by hip-hop.
Yes.
It's to say it's a lot of Asia. And to him, it might just be him going, oh, I want to show what I've grown up with. However, as Jane said, does Yuto know the extent to what he's saying? And that's where the issues of appropriation versus appreciation happen, because it can't be appreciation if you don't understand what it's fully about. And I don't think Yuto or New Japan does.
And therein lies the issue, and why we need to bring this up. So I'm glad that you did, J News, because I did not know his finishing move was called the Bumbla Clap.
No, dude, it's not even a finishing move. It's just a driving knee into the turnbuckle or whatever. New Japan put a clip on it with the term. First of all, it's not even spelled correctly, but that is what it is at the end of the day. And they put the term up and they put it on their social media, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man?
And that's where all the foreign fans were tweeting like, "Oh my god," but not in a negative
Yeah.
way, not in a way that New Japan would look at the retweets
Right,
and go,
right. I get that.
Something is up with that. And so for them, they're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! This is getting traction! This is going viral! This is what we need." So
Yeah.
It ain't working, man. They lost me. They lost me on this.
Yusuf says, remember when I said SB3 about the Death Riders turned it around and HOT didn't add to that? The AEW Tag Team Division turning it around and Nuges being in the gutter. Well, I would hope that new champions would revive it a bit, but we shall see. We shall see.
We'll see. We're not too far from Tag League either. So depending as to who's there, who's participating, can they or will they have other challengers to make fresh and new matches and stuff like that? We'll see, man. We'll see.
All right, time to go down the home stretch with the final big four matches you got for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. The new champion, Hiromu Takahashi, defending against his longtime rival, Taiji Ishimori. These two men are no strangers to one another. They've been involved and embroiled in this ongoing rivalry between the Bullet Club War Dogs and unaffiliated. Hiromu took the break during the G1 for the junior heavyweight division and made his way over to Pro Wrestling Noah, where he won the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. Now being a champion, holding junior heavyweight gold in a different promotion, he brings it back to New Japan Pro Wrestling with him, where he will defend against his longtime rival. These two men have faced in Best of Super Juniors finals for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Tournament action, multi-man action, hasn't mattered. They've done it. They've done battle in it. This should be another good matchup in their series of matches. I really feel, though, this is an issue that I think happens with New Japan quite often. This is a law of diminishing returns with Hiromu and Ishimori. I don't think they've ever had a match that's quite on the level of their Best of Super Junior final from 2018. I think they've had great matches, like their Wrestle Kingdom matches and certain matches that they've had on like big shows, but I don't think they've ever reached that height. And I don't think this one will, but I know it's going to be good. Sonal, what have you thought about the lead up to this matchup here? Who wins on Sunday?
This has been a really interesting lead up because obviously there was a whole thing of after Hiromu won it, and then Ishimori was like, I don't give a shit about the belt. He's been there. He's like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And then obviously, if anyone watched the last Road 2 show, Ishimori won with a bit of sneaky tactics. But again, I don't mind the sneaky tactics because I feel like it works in the context. And then Hiromu said he wanted to do it as a GHC match. And if anyone watched the post-match comments, or actually when they said it, Ishimori said that if he won the title, he would refuse to defend it in Noah and would only defend it in New Japan. Which I like because actually... this is quite an interesting thing for Ishimori. He's got his big crazy show coming up. So I think it's nice to put him in the spotlight for that, which has got like, what is an hour and a half match or something that he's got to be in. I agree with SP3 where I say like, they've never reached the heights, but they always put on consistent matches. And I feel like in a card like this, you need matches that you know are going to be good. And I see Hiromu winning. I don't think Noah's going to relinquish their belts that easily. Especially, like, I could have maybe thought, oh, maybe Ishimori might win. But as soon as he said he wasn't going to defend it in Noah anymore, I was like, nah. But this is going to be good. It's a tale as old as time. I think the two of them have great chemistry. Ishimori's been a lot, since he joined the War Dogs, he's had a bit more of a lightness to him in terms of he can have a bit of fun. He's showing a bit more of his personality and things. So I think this is going to be a good match. And Hiromu is Hiromu. He's like Despy. It's very hard to have a bad match with Hiromu. So
yeah, and he's coming off a great performance at Forbidden Door last month as well. Jay News, who you got here? Hiromu versus Ishimori.
Yeah, man. Being that Hiromu just won the championship and Ishimori has not wanted anything to do with Noah since the mid 2000s. I have a feeling that that Hiromu will retain here. It should be a fine match at the end of the day, like Sonal said. They have great chemistry at the end of the day, and they don't know how to put on bad matches per se. But we'll see as to the extent of how the match goes. And I also think that after the match is over, we'll probably get a new contender for Hiromu.
They said that, isn't it? He's already got one. He's got a next match because they said if Ishimori was going to win, he'd take his spot in that match.
Oh, okay.
I'm not Noah. Is it? It's the person that he had the tag match. Is it Eita?
Oh, is it? Okay, probably.
I know that he's got a match planned.
Okay.
For after Ishimori.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then to continue, I also believe Hiromu is going to retain the title here. It just doesn't make sense for Noah to bring their title to New Japan and have it bounced around or hot potato between their stars. That would just make them look really bad. But looking over at the unaffiliated War Dogs rivalry, it continues on this show as we're going to have the rivalry continue. Coming off the heels of his win in the G1 Climax tournament, David Finlay goes one-on-one with Yota Tsuji once again. These two men are no strangers to one another. They faced in last year's G1 semifinals. They faced at this year's Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom, arguably stealing the show for the Global Heavyweight Championship, which Yota Tsuji beat David Finlay for. It was David Finlay's War Dogs brethren, Gabe Kidd, who defeated Yota Tsuji for the Global Heavyweight Championship. And it was David Finlay who beat Yota Tsuji in the G1 Climax tournament, a crucial loss in his tournament when you think about it and how it transpired for him in Kurgan Hall, with David Finlay beating him to get revenge for the Wrestle Kingdom loss. Now they tried to kind of finish their trilogy for 2025 in this rubber match for the year. Who walks out with the victory between arguably the two most prominent members of their two factions here? Sonal, Yota Tsuji, David Finlay, who you got?
I've really been excited for this. If anyone, you don't have to watch the house shows, but actually on the matches that weren't televised, there's been some really funny interactions with Gabe and SVC's gone. There's been some good interactions with Finlay and Gabe and Tsuji and Shingo. It's been quite funny, but this match, it feels personal, and honestly, I have no idea. As Finlay said, whoever wins this match kind of has the next claim for the title. And I'm like, well, who, what? And in a random video I decided to do where I was playing Booker, I kind of assumed that it would be Tsuji versus Takeshita at Wrestle Kingdom. So if that's going to be the case and following everything I think that Tsuji is going to win this. But again, with all the stress of the House of Torture, it's going to be a banger this. They've not had a bad match. Like you said, their match at Wrestle Kingdom was one of my favorites as well. So, and actually being there in person, the crowds loved it. So whatever happens, it's going to be good. But yeah, this is one of the ones I'm not certain with at all.
Yeah, this is hard to figure out. It's kind of like a toss up, really, if you really think about it. J News, who you got?
Yeah, I'm with you guys here, man. I'm sharing a brain with you guys in the sense of this is really a toss up because you could go either way. I think the sentiment since the beginning of the year has been between the three of us at least, and a good portion of the New Japan fan base is to push Tsuji, right? To get Tsuji to the top and see as to what he can do, especially if he ever becomes the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, right? But I think we can't dismiss the fact that David Finlay has been great in 2025 for New Japan. Hey! Look, I'll give the devil his due. He's been fantastic this year. So
we love to see growth here on the channel.
There's that part of it. And he's also Gato's guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's why not try him there? But I'm not too sure if if we're walking into Wrestle Kingdom with it's gonna be Tsuji versus Takeshita, cool. But I'm even in a flux about is Takeshita gonna beat ZSJ? I just don't know what they're doing necessarily. You know what I'm saying? So it's there's no.
I actually agree with you on that. I actually
Yeah,
agree
there's
with
no
that.
there's no real inclination or as to where they're leaning, which is, you know, for the most part when it comes to wrestling is a good thing at times, right? But with New Japan right now, it's not too much of a good thing because it's like the decision can really make or break the next coming year for you guys. So it's like, depending as to where they want to go with this, I think because obviously I have to choose here, I'm going with Suge. I think this is going to be another banger match between the two of them. But I wouldn't be. I honestly, I wouldn't be pissed off if David wins. It just depends on how they book it for the rest of the year going into Wrestle Kingdom. That's really what it is.
I was just thinking in my head, I was like, they're definitely not going to do Zack versus Finlay at Wrestle Kingdom.
Right, correct.
Because they're not going to do Guy Kokujima. But would I hate to see if they put Takeshita versus David Finlay? No, I would not hate it. I would actually really like it.
Yeah.
But they won't do that either.
But they won't.
They
But
won't
I'm just saying
they won't. What they won't do. Our only New Japan representative is a Geico Kaju. No, they won't do that.
Yeah, I know it's a tough thing, but I'm just saying that actually Finlay has got it to a place where he's really got fans rooting. That actually, I'm like, you know what? I love Suji, but hell, like if they're gonna go and they're gonna go the full way and give Finlay it, because obviously, as Janius pointed out, he's Gato's guy, and they're happy with Jay White. I would not be mad. I would not be mad if my prediction for Suji versus Takeshita was overridden by it being Takeshita versus David Finlay. I would actually quite like that because you get your babyface versus heel. If they're moving, I don't watch the AEW, but is Takeshita moving away from the Don Callis family?
Yeah,
that's the story they're telling with him and Okada trying to prove
so you could have that.
So
maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting, and especially because considering that, you know, they still haven't done the Takeshita Okada matchup. So like it's interesting with the Takeshita, if Takeshita's going to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and how that's going to affect his booking in AEW at the same time. As far as this matchup here, I'm going to be different. I'm going to go with David Finlay. I feel like Suji will be in the Tokyo Dome main event, but I don't know. I don't know if the winner of this matchup has the kind of the gateway to get the winner of Takeshita and the winner of the main event after Power Struggle at Wrestle Kingdom. So
is there a match between? Is there a big show between Wrestle Kingdom and Power Struggle? Is there one that you could put another match there?
Well, there's King. Well, the King of Pro Wrestling is the Takeshita ZSJ match. So then there's Power Struggle. There's Power Struggle after that, and then there's the World Tag League final.
So then maybe what they could do is if they have Finlay win this, have him challenge whoever at Power Struggle, lose, and then Suji makes his match. Maybe.
And we still don't know if they're gonna do a US show to end the year.
I would have announced it by now, wouldn't they?
To be honest, kid, I would think so. I don't think they're gonna. And I also
because like 2 months ago they announced the China show, which is in October, and I kind of feel like with the 3 months left, they would have already announced. That's why, like again, we were like, well, there's no Royal Quest, and I kind of feel like they would have announced some. Also, with Tanahashi already had his last US match.
And don't they have a historic X crossover?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. They do, but they don't traditionally have IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, and I do know what the Wrestle Kingdom main event should be. It should be what Sonal said. It should be Suji versus Takeshita.
Yeah,
but
it should be.
Will it be? I have learned from Gato to not assume anything. Do not assume that is the right. Because it's the right decision. Do not assume that Gato's going to choose it.
We can dream. We can put it into the universe. We all have. But we also put Suji winning the G1 into the universe, and that didn't work.
That did not work at all. It did not. Then we got for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, it's going to be Gabe Kidd defending against Shingo Takagi. These two men are also two men who are no strangers to one another. They've had 3 bangers over the last 2 years over the Never Openweight Championship in the G1. They've done battle. They were supposed to do battle once again in the G1 this year before Gabe Kidd went out with a knee injury after his first bout against Takeshita for the global in the first matchup of the block in the G1. But now Gabe Kidd returns to in-ring competition in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he goes against arguably one of the best pound for pound pro wrestlers in the company today. This should be very good. If Gabe Kidd is on the money, if he's healthy, this has all the makings to be the match of the night to me. Who walks out global heavyweight champion, J News?
Because I didn't get to watch the majority of the Road 2 shows, I don't necessarily know what kind of shape Gabe is in. So now you'll probably have a better idea of what Gabe's looking like physically.
Yeah, I mean, he seems pretty good. Obviously, he came back and did that stupid cage match. I mean, it's not stupid. It was actually a very good cage match, but just he's actually in very good shape. He's still got that passion and stuff. So in that way, yeah, I think Gabe is in very good shape. Shingo, again, always in good shape. So, yeah.
So then I would then have to say, based on that information there, and I don't see Gabe coming back to AEW this year. I would say Gabe retains, and it all just we'll go from there. I think Gabe retains. I think the match will be fantastic as they usually have the propensity of doing between Shingo and Gabe, and I think Gabe retains, and then we'll see as to who becomes Gabe's next challenger. But Gabe retains in this one.
Sonal.
So I mentioned this on my prediction video that I had two thoughts of this. If, like Jane, you said, Gabe's not going back to AEW, Gabe can retain the title. But he'll have to do a lot to bring back the Japanese fans, because a lot of them were a bit annoyed that his first match back after injury was at a Forbidden Door show. If Gabe is going to go tooting off to AEW, I think Shingo needs to keep it. Because one, I think unaffiliated needs some New Japan gold. Because I think we've kind of basically cemented that unaffiliated is a thing now. It's not just the thing. They've got the t-shirts, they've got everything. It's hard because I love Gabe. I've followed Gabe for years, and hell, I interviewed him before he went in the dojo and stuff. It's just that people like me, the AEW thing has been an issue. And if he's gonna stay in New Japan, he's gonna keep with this discourse of yes, New Japan is no one. This is where I want to be. I would be very happy for Gabe to retain. I just kind of need that promise. I don't want someone holding the global belt who's then just going to go off to AEW and be like, do you know what I mean, with the Death Riders? And I also think that actually, because we've said this, Shingo's not getting an IWGP Heavyweight Championship run again, sadly. So actually, the global title would be great, because it'd be, taking either the US and the Intercontinental belt. So, yeah, I'm going to say Shingo, just because I think that actually would do a hell of a lot of good for unaffiliated. But if Gabe decides to stick it around and is New Japan through and through, I'll be fine with him. But he's going to have to earn back my belief that actually he is New Japan till the end. Because even now, his words seem kind of empty to me.
Well, that's been an issue for him. He got the fans on his side in a big way following the Kenny Omega match at Wrestle Dynasty, and it seems like his runs in the US and for AEW have kind of quelled that rise in momentum and popularity that he was having in Japan. J News.
I think the thing is, because a lot of Western fans and a lot of AEW fans have been hitting back. It's not making a difference. It's not. It is making a difference. You can all say, for Western fans, it's probably not a big thing, especially if you watch AEW in New Japan. But people tend to overestimate the popularity of AEW in Japan. For them, a lot of it, because a lot of them weren't happy when Moxley won the title off Naito, I believe it was Naito, wasn't it? Because then Naito won it back. And so they've got a lot of bitter feelings to him. So when people are like, oh, what's this Gabe thing being an issue? It is. A lot of Japanese fans have lost their belief that Gabe Kidd is for new. And there's a lot of things of well, is he just going to go to AEW as well? Because like I struggle to invest in foreign talent because you just think they're going to leave. And the Japanese are going to be the same. And they thought Gabe is a thing, but then he goes to AEW. So Gabe really needs to double down and figure out what he's doing.
That's a fair assessment. J News, what do you think? Kid versus Shingo.
No, I mean, I gave my I said Gabe would win or retains here or whatever. But to piggyback off of what Sonal is saying, and I don't think most people see it this way, or this has been talked about in this way, so I'll bring it up this way. The way that Japanese fans have reacted towards Gabe is very reminiscent of the tribalistic nature of AEW and WWE here in the United States. I, for one, don't care about Gabe floating in between both companies because I know it's two separate things. People want to make it the same thing, but I know it's two separate things at the end of the day because it is. And for all intents and purposes, people don't know the specifics. Gabe was filling in for Pac, and Pac is back, which is why I don't think Gabe is going back to AEW anytime soon. Right? If his contract expires and Tony's is gonna be offering Gabe big money, go get the big money. You know what I'm saying? Because Japan's not paying you right now. You know, I cannot fault people for leaving Japan for bigger paychecks and taking care of their families at the end of the day. I get the economy around the world is shit right now, but the tribalistic nature of this whole, well, you know, he's no longer a fan favorite, the second and third, or whatever the case is. He's still giving you the same fire. He's still giving you the same passion. He's going to put on banger matches. It's not the same thing. AEW, New Japan, from a character standpoint, it's just they're not the same. It's just not at the end of the day.
As much as Gabe tried to link it, and much as Western fans try to say, oh, but he joined the Death Riders because Death Riders don't like AEW, so that makes sense. No, if Gabe really loved New Japan, he wouldn't even bother. He's always said he doesn't give a shit about AEW, so why is he joining someone who's trying to bring them down if it doesn't really impact Gabe? Is where they're like conflicting.
I understand where she's coming from because it is very much like hypocritical, the stuff that he's doing in comparison to the stuff that he's actually said. It's a lot of ways why I criticize and get into it with WWE, because WWE is so full court press on the counter programming of AEW, but then turn around and say AEW is not competition. Like, you're saying one thing and then you're doing the other, and that's what Gabe Kidd did to a lot of the New Japan fan base.
Like, because this is obviously coming from me, as I watch AEW, but that's obviously not what my thing is. So for me, like when Gabe says, like Jane, you said, if Gabe wants to go over and he wants more money, that's fine. I don't care. Like, that's a good thing. But if he now goes and he's been spending 2 years going, I don't like AEW, New Japan's where I want to be, and then he goes over, that's going to make him look really bad for and Japanese fans, they take this quite to heart.
I don't disagree with you, Sonal, because you're absolutely right about that last part of it, right? Japanese fans take it to heart. But yet again, I fail to understand, and correct me if I'm wrong here, right? If Gabe's lip service has always been he hates AEW, and the Death Riders lip service is they're going to burn AEW to the ground, and he joins the group that wants to burn AEW to the ground, how does that not make sense?
I think so. Actually, yeah. That there is that, and obviously, I think the big thing is it's the Death Riders whole concept.
I get that.
So, like, obviously, there's a lot of House of Torture. Like, Gabe criticized House of Torture, and it felt the same. Yeah. I think you can look at it from that perspective, and actually, that does make sense. But I think a lot of people are saying, like, because it's not that he hates it; it's more like, I don't care about AEW. Like, New Japan is the best. So, if you think New Japan is the best, you should be wanting to stay in New Japan and keep making that, rather than going off there. Again, it's from both perspectives. Like, I understand. Actually, in some ways, it does make sense, but I think it's just. It's different things. It's the whole idea that it's like, at that point, Death Riders was like House of Torture.
Right.
And Gabe did a whole spiel about how much he hates House of Torture, how much he hates interference and stuff. And that's the thing, if he hadn't have said any of that, and if he'd have gone, and I could kind of get it, but it is that thing that I'm focusing on, like, oh, he's like, I hate this bullshit, you know, it keeps happening. But then he's being in a faction where there's so much of that. Like, certain parts make sense, but again, if you put everything together, it doesn't.
Yeah. And I think the out of wrestling stuff also takes a lot into precedent as well here. Outside of the in ring stuff. Like I said, Pac was injured, one, and then secondarily, it's like if AEW's able to pay him more on purses where New Japan was going to have him do a whole bunch of tag matches and he wasn't going to be making that much money, it's like, could you fault him really? You know what I'm saying? That's another part of it. And then thirdly, as well, coming when it boils down to it, like it really depends on what he wants to do. Like I don't necessarily know what his goal is overall in pro wrestling, So and plus, I think Gato and Tana would have held on to Gabe if they thought they had anything for him to do in New Japan outside of all that stuff. So all that stuff comes into play at the end of the day.
He came over at the beginning of this in the spring of this year during the Best of Super Juniors.
Yeah,
that was when they weren't using main event stars. Like I think that it only really is an issue when he basically gets pulled from the G1 Climax and then his first match back is in an AEW ring. But literally, that wasn't the big deal that it should have been because New Japan fans were already complaining. So I think that this is a all across the board. People need to adjust some things and fix some things. Like Gabe has handled this very poorly. I think that AEW could have explained things a little bit better.
That's the thing. They'd have explained something, it would have worked.
But New Japan is the most at fault here.
Yeah,
New Japan is the most at fault here because they are not like this is to the benefit of Gabe appearing on AEW. He's getting paid by AEW. He's getting more exposure, more eyes on him that can translate and help out New Japan Pro Wrestling in the end. But you need to communicate what you're doing with him to Tony Khan so he can use him in a way that more is connective to what you're doing and doesn't go against what the fans want from a certain character. So I think that New Japan is the most at fault here, but everyone has some fault in this situation, and including the fans who were complaining as soon as he showed up in AEW, not even being rational about it and being like, oh, he's only there because they're not using heavyweights right now in New Japan. No, there were not any logical reflecting of that. It was immediate. New Japan, especially the Japanese New Japan fans, they immediately started complaining. So therefore, even if it was a big deal when he shows up at Forbidden Door instead of being in the G1, it's not going to feel like a big deal because it's just them complaining again. And they've been complaining about Gabe in AEW. Here we are.
I mean, I'm like that. I don't really agree with that point. But again, that's coming from I was probably one of those fans that SP3 is talking about who was very highly critical of it. I do agree that the big issue here was there was a lack of communication. I don't really think that it's solely New Japan. I think that they should have been like it's a mutual thing. They're both as much to blame. Like again, I have no issues with Gabe going off to AEW and doing matches. It's the same with Ishii. Like I genuinely don't mind. I think it was just the way it went about, and then randomly, and then at Forbidden Door, obviously having I get it. Like I understand that. Like to a lot of people, the reaction seemed quite dramatic, but I think it again depends on your perspective, and also like for example, take it like this is maybe from someone like me who again, all I watch is New Japan. Do you know what I mean? That is my sole focus, and it's the same with a lot of Japanese fans. It's just New Japan. So yeah, I personally don't believe that like New Japan is the biggest issue going into it. I think that everyone is to blame. But I just think that yes, some of the reactions were dramatic, and I know mine was as well, probably. But I think it comes from a fact of like, especially for me, someone who's been so invested in Gabe and someone who has so much respect for what Gabe was saying as a New Japan fan. And obviously that got emotional in January, seeing him getting cheered over Kenny. So yeah, I get multiple perspectives. Like I understand if you're like me and you were like, damn, this is annoying. But I also understand people like SP3 who are like, yeah, people are taking it too far. It depends on where you sit in like the AEW and New Japan thing. Are you in the middle where you watch both? Do you mainly watch AEW or do you mainly watch New Japan? I think it all, because there was a lot of people who just watched AEW who was then hitting out and people who just watched New Japan. So it became a whole fan war. I remember that was an interesting time on social media.
It was. It definitely was.
I think King of the North. I think King of the North made a good point, man. I don't think Japanese fans hold New Japan and the bookers accountable enough. To be quite honest, they want to always pass the buck and blame somebody else for the issues, and it's like, nah, man. Like, look in the mirror, dude. Look in the mirror. Outside of the Gabe stuff,
and that's why I said that New Japan deserves most of the blame, because I know for a fact New Japan fans will blame anybody but New Japan. Just how it works. It's the same thing with WWE fans. Same thing with AEW fans. They don't ever look in the mirror and say, I'm a part of the problem. And I think that's also an issue with New Japan and New Japan fan base in general right now. But let's talk about the main.
Generally, I think it's any kind of fans of anything. You never want to.
Yeah.
You always want to. You're really defensive. Like, you're always going to be defensive over the people that you like. And I get it. I also want to point out that if you are in that perspective, like you're like me, where you're full AW and full New Japan, I think don't be starting getting personal, starting beef with other fans. Share your opinions, and if you want to react with other people's opinions, be nice. I remember I have a mutual who I'm very good friends with who only watches Japanese wrestling, and she was sharing her views, and a lot of AW fans were being very rude to her. I can also imagine that it was vice versa, that there were AW fans sharing their thoughts and New Japan fans being very volatile. Share your opinions, but remember, at the end of the day, this is just pro wrestling. We're here to have a good time. So share your opinions, like get passionate, like me and Jay News get passionate about how much Bolton Oleg is boring, but you don't have to be personal about it. Just share your opinions, because everyone's entitled to their opinion, even if you think it's a wrong opinion. As we always, you're entitled to your wrong opinion, as we like to say.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the main event for this Sunday. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship up for grabs. Zack Sabre Jr. will defend against Ren Narita. Ren basically picked up one of the biggest wins of his career, beating Zack Sabre Jr. in the G1 Climax tournament. The first win that he got in the tournament was over the IWGP champion, and since then he has been targeting the knee of Zack Sabre Jr. the same way that he got the win. He's been weakening him and getting him ready for Destruction, where he plans on bringing the top prize in New Japan Pro Wrestling back to the House of Torture. Can Ren Narita cheat his way to IWGP Gold, or will ZSJ retain and move on to verse the G1 Climax winner Konosuke Takeshita at King of Pro Wrestling next month? J News, what do you got here?
Zack Sabre Jr. by a country mile. There's just no way Ren Narita wins this match. And I'll say, and the reason I'm saying that is because they got to end the year on a positive note some way, somehow. Because if there's any inkling of them putting that championship on Ren Narita, I don't even know what I would do, man. I don't even know what I would do. Because that to me would just be a travesty, a sham, and a mockery of professional wrestling in 2025 and all of the above. So ZSJ for the win here. He should be able to tie up Ren Narita in knots. TMDK hopefully will stop the rest of the House of Torture members coming down to the ring or whatever have you during this match.
There's a lot of them in the clown car.
Yeah, and we'll go from there. I just that's hilarious. Ren Narita's time. I'd rather show to Umino. What about that? Ren Narita's time. Is that a joke? Is that a joke?
He did preference I don't watch New Japan. That's why he wanted Ren Narita's time.
I know.
Sonal, who you got main event?
You're muted, Sonal. You're muted.
You're muted, Sonal.
I was doing so well. I was like, this is not what. I think Zach's gonna win just because of everything that I think, and I really hope he wins. It'll be interesting to see what level of House of Torture shit we get. Is Ren Narita? I don't know. Is he going to shock us? Because you know what? Somewhere deep in my soul, which is almost as sold out as Ren Narita, I feel like there's still a good wrestler somewhere. It might be very, very deep. It's almost lost. But I mean, we saw Evil do it, even though there was shenanigans. I'd like to think that, like, you know, on the G1 final where Zack came out to get rid of House Torture, I'd love the idea that TMDK has recruited the rest of the locker room and that they're just all gonna come out and just take them away, or at least Zack's gonna recruit the Young Lions because that's what they did on the Evil match. Ren Narita to win. I don't want him like. Again, if you'd have asked me this like 4 years ago before House of Torture, I'd be like, yeah, I love Ren Narita. I think he's amazing, but I just can't. I always say this. There's gonna be no House of Torture interference, and whenever I say that, it's always the opposite. So I'm not even gonna imply it. I'm just glad that the matches before this, we've got a strong string of no House of Torture matches.
Godspeed to end the show with this. Ren Narita promises there's going to be House of Torture nonsense, but in the end, I do think Zack Sabre Jr. gets the win because God knows no one wants to see Ren Narita versus Konosuke Takeshita at King of Pro Wrestling. But
No,
ZSJ,
not this Ren Narita. Maybe 4 years ago.
I don't want to see any Ren Narita. Nah, I don't want to see any Ren Narita in the main event of any show. Period. But yes. We've made it to the end of our preview here. Give you our predictions. If you're watching us on demand, let us know in the comments down below who you got for this Sunday show. And I guess I don't know if you guys are free Monday to review the show. How about it? I guess that's a yes from J News. Is that a yes from you, Sonal?
Maybe
from Sonal.
Yeah, maybe.
We shall see. But me and Jay.
I will have to humbly say that I will not be able to make it on Monday.
There we go. So it'll probably just be me. If it is, then we'll have a good time and we'll review Destruction in Kobe 2025. So stay tuned for that. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. But thank you so much to J News. Thank you so much to Sonal for our preview of NJPW Destruction in Kobe. Sonal, want to give you the floor. Let everybody know what you got going on your channel, where they can follow you on social media, and anything else.
Yeah, so as always, make sure to hit subscribe on YouTube at Sonal's Live. I've had a bit of fun the past few weeks. I played New Japan Booker. I decided to do my list of my top 5 most handsome wrestlers. Hard-hitting journalism from me. And you can always find me on the X at wrestling_chat. If I'm watching shows live, I will be live tweeting. I post loads of other shit, so that's where you can find me.
And J News.
Yeah, y'all can find me Sunday afternoons, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hit the Ropes Podcast on my YouTube channel or Dolores' YouTube channel. We go through the week that was in professional wrestling. I should be back here on True Heel Heat within the next 2 weeks because we do have to break down King of Pro Wrestling, which the actual event is on October 13th. So that's about 2 weeks away at this point. So we'll probably get a preview and a review in for there. My sincerest apologies to everybody out there watching and in the chat that I will not be here for Monday, but I do have an appointment to take care of on Monday there. So yeah, there's that. And thanks to everybody in the chat for participating and saying their piece. And yeah, Maggie, JPEG, love it.
Your God-given name. But yes, we've made it to the end of another pay-per-view preview. You can follow me on the social media at True Heel SP3 on the Twitter machine. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Heel Heat, patreon.com/True Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. We got our latest GOAT match series dropping over there as well. And we got a contender for the top of the list right there. But over here on the YouTube channel, check out our AEW All Out 2025 review with myself, J News, and Professor Chris, and True Draw Josh. Check out our WWE WrestlePalooza 2025 review with myself and Robert D. Felice. Check out our NXT No Mercy preview from earlier this week with Shotty from Wrestling Republic. And of course, check out AE Ramble episode 217, Right or Rejection, reviewing Dynamite from this past week with myself and Jimmy Macaram. I will be back live here tomorrow, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Heel Heat flagship podcast. We'll be talking about all of the fallout from AEW All Out and WWE WrestlePalooza. We will determine what was the better show. We'll talk about AJ Styles retiring. Has Triple H ran out of all his goodwill? The Masha Slamovich allegations, Gail Kim getting canceled, and much, much more. So join us for that tomorrow. For J News, for Sonal, it is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been our NJPW Destruction in Kobe 2025 preview. We are signing off until next time.